Alright, welcome ladies and gentlemen to my channel. This is going to be my mercenary PvP guide. Um, like and subscribe if you like what you see. Any suggestions, leave them down in the comments that you have on the class and perhaps how to play it. Enjoy. Let's just get into it. Um, for now, let me just take this down so I'm not talking over it in my head. Because my guides are kind of more in depth. Um, so a little bit backstory with me in this class. I've been playing this class since launch of SWTOR. This character was created at the launch of SWTOR. And last, I do play ranked a lot on my Merc, believe it or not. I do, and I was ranked in top 40 on the server as my Merc. And some people wanted to know how I do things. Okay, so the first thing I'd like to start before I go into my rotation and skill trees is me gear. Okay. Um, as you can see, I have a bunch of AUGs still here. I'm at about 13,000 Warzone comms. And once I hit 16,500, I believe I can buy a whole ranked set. I'm pretty sure that's the exact number. It's 16,000 something. But I'm going to be able to buy the entire ranked set. I'm almost there. I actually spent my tokens, and as you can see, Headhunter Dreadshots was being in the silver bracket for ranked last season. I reached that and got the jackpot enabled from there to enable to get that title. So only people who did ranked PvP can get this title here. And I would say if you played about 15, 20 games, 30 games, if you had to pretty much be in the silver to get enough to really buy this. I believe. I can recheck the prices again. But anyway, that's not the point. I still have 1,000 left over. But yeah, let's go. Alright, so let's forget about that for 2 seconds. So right now I am in the initiative device. Okay. I have the set bonus of the shit, I forgot the name. This is a damage set, basically. Um, there's one for the power tech and there's one for the Merc. It's the one with the set bonus with heat seekers and serrated shot. That's the one I got. That's basically the Eliminators. There it was. This is the Eliminators Gear Set. As you can see, I have all cartel market items, so it totally didn't dawn on me there. Um, so, I have the Eliminator set, and which is the base PvP set. You get it for about 4,500 comms, the whole set. You can get that, not too bad, not too shabby. Does a nice amount of damage. I don't have these AUG'd yet. I used to. When I ran ranked last season, before they boosted it up to 65, I was in all ranked. Dark Reaver, everything. But for now, I have everything pretty much AUG'd except my helmet there because I think I changed my helmet out for cosmetic reasons or whatever I was doing. Um, as you can see, I run just a normal set mods that you get from Eliminators and the mastery augments I get. And I'll explain why in just a moment. Let me just explain the gear down. So that is my set, 2 Acheon blasters with the augments of mastery augments as well. They're no longer aim augments, they're now mastery augments due to the recent update. My crit chance is sitting around 25%, so 1 out of every 4 attacks is critting. Accuracy at 111 to pierce that armor. Got a damage bonus of 1,493, which is 0.8, which you can all see there, and a crit multiplier of 55.6. I am more about the raw power, not really my crit rating as much, or my surge, I should say. I don't really focus too much on that. And here's a new thing for Mercs to know about your gear. Your alacrity actually does affect your heat dispense rate. This has actually been updated, I think, maybe 2 patches ago. I could be wrong on that. But yes, the higher alacrity you have, you throw heat off yourself. You degenerate heat off yourself faster. So this guide will start from less in-depth to more in-depth. This is for people, the more in-depth parts will be for people who already understand a lot of this stuff and how it works. I'm building this for completely new people as well because I feel that some of the guides out there like assume that you know this much or assume that you've done all this. And I think that's such a stupid thing to do in an MMO because most people who come to look to guides are either new to the MMO or completely new to the class or in some way they're only and the very few people are there just for rotation. You know, they can always read a rotation on the internet. They don't really need to watch it. Visual is much easier for very, very new people. So this is yeah, so that's my set that I'm running with right now. Um, okay, and that's the gear. Next step is skill tree. I can go over all these, but I don't think I need to. I mean, they're pretty self-explanatory, but I did say I'm making this completely for new people, so I will go over some of the key ones here, because I know this class pretty damn well. So, let's take a look here. Now, I've built this class not for PvE, this is a PvP guide. So some of you please don't leave comments like, this would be great in PvE. That's not my goal. I don't PvE on this character at all. This is my PvP tune. Um, so let's take a look at in the skillful section of the utilities that you're going to be taking. Now I go with custom enviro suit, and some people deny me on this, and some people do, but I've seen the performance: 3% endurance and plus 3% healing received. Now in the endurance, I really don't give a shit about. It's the healing received by 3%. It's a nice little tiny sprinkle of extra healing. Okay. This could be debatable. Do you really feel you need this? You could decide not to. You can either go with this, vented heat right away, and personally, I think this is quite useless because in this spec, you should never be running out of heat. In Arsenal, this is, by the way, this is the Arsenal mercenary guide. Um, so you should never be running out of heat. Um, Jet escape. I really don't think this is useful because here you push everyone away with jet escape, and in the new update in 4.0, everybody has a closer. The Sin can phase walk into you, the Juggernaut can mad dash back into you. It's really useless to utilize, put a entire utility point just to boost this. Okay. Now, Afterburners is the one debatable thing that I think you can swap with these two. Afterburners allows your rocket punch to immobilize a target, and Jet Boost knocks them back even farther. Um, this is debatable. Sweeping blasters absolutely unnecessary. Um, Power shot and tracer missile reduce movement speed. Targets they damage by 40% for 6 seconds. Take this. This is an extremely important skill. This is going to help you kite. If you keep popping this on them, they will be slower than you and you will move faster. It's simple as that. This is great for kiting Sins. This is definitely great on the Marauders. I mean, this pisses Marauders off because they don't know what the fuck to do because that's what's fucked them up. Okay? So that's skillful. And this is completely useless. You don't really need that. Okay. Masterful. Now this is even where it gets more convoluted from Merc to Merc, but I feel that my spec is the most efficient in my opinion. So here we go. Power Shield. Energy Shield now further decreases ability activation pushback by 30 seconds and makes you immune to interrupts. This is fantastic, especially if you're playing very, very intelligent players who know how to interrupt you because the Merc casts. You know, I know, well, I'll get into more of the rotation about how you make your casts instant a lot of the times, but when you are casting, this is very useful. You know, it's basically allows you what you pop up your shield to be in a burn phase, that you can really dish it out and not have to worry about that. 2. Supercharged defense. Activating supercharged gas increases your defense chance by 15% and grants immunity to interrupt for 8 seconds. So as you can see, before every round in ranked, you should be popping up supercharged gas by using Kolto Shot to proc it up. And we'll go over my rotation in that in just a second. Now, the more debatable side here is I want to explain a lot of this because I feel it's super important with this class, more than others, in my opinion. Now, I know a lot of mercs love the Pyro Shield. They're like, basically, it takes a shield and it does damage to people that attack you. Now, I'm like, really, it's really unnecessary for that. I mean, I'd rather have the other two that make you immune to interrupts because how hard you're going to hit is going to out damage this shield any day of the week. This is more of a tanking thing for a power tech, to be quite honest. It's really not that important for a merc. Increase stealth detection by 2, melee and range defense by 2%, reduce the cooldown of stealth scan by 5%. Now this is probably the most useless thing in the game, and I don't know why it's a utility. This is where the balance, I think, comes in argument, but stealth detection level by 2 does absolutely nothing for you. It really doesn't. You will not see sins, you will not see operatives, you just won't see them. And whoever says it works, it doesn't. It really doesn't. It does not work in ranked, doesn't work in even 8v8s. Quite a useless skill. And you want to sacrifice these? No. Hell no. Heat dampening eliminates the heat generated by jet boost, concussion missile, cure, and electro dart. These don't even make that much heat, so don't take this. Quite useless. When you activate cure on yourself, a foreign object exterior reduces all periodic damage taken by 30% for 12 seconds. Now this is debatable. And the reason why I say it's debatable because if you think about it, one, you have to activate cure, and then two, it's debatable because this is very circumstantial. This doesn't help you against classes that burst. See, these two are very universal. They just stop people from interrupting you. That's no matter who you're fighting, it's gonna work. This is great, I think, if you're fighting Madness Orcs. Very nice. It's very good for Madness Sins and Lethality Operatives. And perhaps even Watchmen Marauders, but I really don't find them a problem anyway. This could help you in that situation. It could give you those 12 seconds of basically a slight, quote-unquote, breather room. Okay, let's hop over here real quick. Increase the duration of hydraulic overrides by 4 seconds. Not really useful. I mean, do you really want to sacrifice another utility? I don't think so. For that. Increase all healing received by 20% by energy shield is active. Really unnecessary. This is also very debatable. I don't think it's necessary. I'd rather have the immunity to interrupts and increase my heals. Because if you're sitting there healing yourself in the energy shield as a DPS Merc, it ain't gonna work. You are going to be bursted down. Okay? This could help if you have a good healer. I mean, it would put a lot less pressure on them. But I think the lack of interrupts would be really nice. I mean, you'll be hitting them hard. And I like that concept of hitting them hard because I'll explain a little bit after I get through all this. A little bit more on that that scenario. Now, I take stabilized armor. I don't care what spec you are for the Merc. You're a healer, you're the pyrotech, or Internet Ordnance they call it now, and arsenal. I don't care who you are. This passive is absolutely necessary. Okay, there is no excuse not to have this passive, for ranked especially. If you're in 8v8, you can get away with not having it. But if you are in ranked, and you plan on playing PvP for real, you have to have this. If you do not have this, you are fucked. Okay, this is what happens to mercs. They get stun locked, and they die. And then they say the class sucks. And here's my thing. Do you have this utility? And a lot of them say no. They don't. This reduces your damage by 30%. Now let's say you had energy shield active, which is 25% damage reduction. Then you have stabilized armor and you are stunned in your shield. That is almost a 60% damage reduction. They will not be hitting you that hard. And this has saved me a lot in ranked. Okay. Next. Thrill of the Hunt. This is probably the next these two in heroic are a must for mercs. If you do not have this, you are screwed. Okay, if you do not have these two. You cannot sit here and become a turret. This allows you to move when you're using blazing bolts and progressive. Well, progressive scan is for healers, but blazing bolt is for this DPS spec. And if you do not have this, you are so royally screwed. You have no idea, because one, you're gonna have to sit there to use one of your biggest sustained damage abilities, and when you sit there is how you die as a merc. That's the thing. As a merc, you don't want people attacking you. It's just not what you want. Okay. Next. So that is your utilities. Okay. I could go over some of this right here in this tree. Even though most of this is self-explanatory, it's just procs on top of procs. And I'd rather go into the rotation and show you guys when they're affecting in real time. Okay. Now, the Merc rotation for Arsenal spec is probably the one of the easiest in the game. It's very, very simple, especially if you're sitting back and free casting. Nothing too complicated, nothing too crazy. Um, so yeah, I'll be going also over some strategies for this class because this class is squishy. Even with my perfect build, my gear at maxed and everything, it's still a damn squishy class. And what you need to do is you have to be crafty as a merc. This favors the most cunning of players in this class. So I'll be explaining how to tackle each of the classes, and what to look for. But first, let's get over the basic rotation of this class. Okay? So, here we go. Now, how I like to open up my fights is normally in a 4v4, I ain't going in first, or 8v8. I ain't going in first. All during Civil War, everyone running mid. I'll be behind my team. I don't want to be in the front because that's just stupid. If you're a merc and you're in the front, you deserve to die. Now when you're in the back, I like to open up with the cast. Okay? And once you pop that cast, Blazing Bolts, like I said, this is basically your biggest sustained damage move, always on cooldown. As soon as you get it, and this allows you, like Thrill of the Hunt, allows you to move. Right after Blazing Bolts, you want to use Priming Shot, which makes your next Tracer Missile instant. Blazing Bolts procced again. You want to pop Blazing Bolts every single time. You want another Tracer Missile and another Tracer Missile. Blazing Bolts has popped. Then you want Heat Seekers. Then you want Rail Shot. Okay? Now, that is the most basic of the rotations. Okay, that is like the most basic you can do. And of course, what's really cool about this rotation is you can do a lot of improvising here. There is no like, this is the way you must play the Merc. No, this is not one of those classes that it's like that. It's very situation based. Some may say that the rotation is not a rotation, it's a what you call it, like priority system, but it's not a priority system. What your goal is try to get this tracer missile instant as much as you possibly can when you can. So I know some people who like to open up the tracer with that and then do that and then go unload, just go instant tracer and then hit him with a heat seeker and then hit with another tracer and another tracer and then rail shots ready, so you do unload and then rail shot. Boom, every time those things glow. Okay? You're basically hitting the glows. And then you just rinse and repeat. And look at my heat. It ain't going nowhere. The heat's not going anywhere. And I'm putting up good numbers. It's not going anywhere. And it goes back down. Put in a filler. Not going anywhere. Tracer missile casted. Tracer missile like that. Like that. Boom. Just keep rinsing and repeating that. Tracer missiles unload as soon as it procs. Or blazing bolt, sorry, it replaces unload. And just keep hitting that, man. Every time it's gonna procs. You hit this on cooldown. You hit your heat seekers on cooldown. And every time priming shots down, you use it. And remember, and the reason why I'm showing you guys casting, I just want to say this. When no one is on you, cast. I'm serious. When no one is on you, like let's say that they're all fighting over there. Don't fucking use priming shot. Don't fucking, it's a waste. That's a waste right there. That is such a waste. You're under no pressure. When you're under no pressure, do this. Do this. Do this. Just sit here. Just sit here until someone pays attention to you. And if they don't in your game, if they don't pay attention to you, you fuck them up. You kill everybody. Okay, you can kill people in about 4 global cooldowns if they're not paying any attention to you. Okay, so don't just sit here and, oh, I'm gonna use prime and shot when no one's on me. All right, don't do that. Sit and cast. Okay, if you're playing hutball, take the higher ground. Don't be standing in the middle of the battlefield. Don't be doing any of that shit because you will die as the merc, and then you're gonna go on the forums and you're gonna bitch about the class. That's what you're gonna do. It's what you always do. Okay? So here we go. Alright, that's number one. And before anyone says that this seems like I'm raging about people about on the forums, it's not. I'm just saying the reality of what happens in the game. Okay, so now you know the rotation basically for when someone is not attacking you. Essentially, you are free casting in an 8v8 or, if you're lucky, in a 4v4. So now what happens when people get on your ass? How are you supposed to play? when they're like, oh shit, this Merc knows his stuff because he watched this guide, and we need to like freaking stop him because he's bursting all our team down. Okay. This is what you do, and I'm going to go over each one of the classes here and how to attack them and how to exploit their weaknesses. Some are more difficult than others, I will admit. The Merc has some very, very obvious weaknesses to certain classes, but that's how it is. I mean, that's just there's nothing you can do about it. There's no need to get mad. There's no need to go ballistic. You just got to understand how it's played. Okay? Now, let's start with the Marauder, because the Marauder is a free kill for a Merc. He is a free kill. Okay? If anyone on the fleet chat says Marauders are great when put into the right hands, there's a couple of things a Merc can do that the Marauder has absolutely zero answers for. Okay, so a Marauder is a melee-based class. He does a lot of damage. You don't want to be caught in that damage. Okay? So what you do is, the first thing you do, Marauder, let's say he jumped at me. He jumped at me. He was all the way over there, and now he jumped at me and he's up in my face. Now the first thing you want to do is use hydraulic overrides and start kiting, and now use your priming shot to get your instants and just keep getting away from him and keep it. And if you're gonna trying to close a distance, don't forget your utility point of tracer missile right here. They are slowed by 4. Its movement speed of the targets. Okay, tracer missile reduces the movement speed of the targets they damage by 40% for 6 seconds. You are slowing them down. You are putting distance. Okay, you keep them away. Now, if he closes that distance again, if he keeps trying to hit you, just keep casting, cast a little bit, back away, blazing bolts, rail shot, just keep doing your thing, Now, if he gets real close, we got a nice little thing in 4.0. Just do this, just poof, jetpack away. You can literally rocket jetpack away now as a Merc. You can dash away and put electronet on him. They can't do shit. That's a free kill right there. A Marauder will have to waste all his DCDs to survive the Electronet burn. And you just keep it up. You just keep it up, literally. You keep it up. And you just keep firing. And that's how you kill Marauders. Easy as that. They get up close. You use hydraulic overrides to begin the kite. You start firing. You have to cast maybe one time. Oh, what the hell? It's evaded. You have to cast maybe one time. Start backing away, heat seekers, priming shot, keep it away. He gets too close, jetpack away, and resume, and then use electronet when it's on cooldown. Okay? That is how you deal with a Marauder. And if any Marauder thinks that he can beat that, he's impressive. Okay? There's either two things. One, he's an extremely great player or something like that. Or two, you are just a bad Merc. You're not geared or something. Something is missing. You should be able to kill a Marauder in that amount of time. Okay? Because I don't even have the bolster on my character right now. And you're seeing 8, 10 Ks. Like with the bolster on, the damage should definitely go up. There you go. Like, look at that, 15,000. Like that's freaking nuts. Okay, that's how you deal with a Marauder. Okay, and of course you got your Colta Overload, your Energy Shield, and your Chaff Flares. Now, let me get into before we go to the other classes, because these will become more important when fighting other classes. Let's just say the Marauder is really, really good. And he's up in your shit. He survived your Electronet burn. He should be almost dead. If he's not, then I don't know what the fuck you're doing. So what he's doing is he's in your face again. Now what you want to use, the first thing you want to use is Energy Shield. Okay? Reduces damage by 25% for 12 seconds. Now some people say, why? Why use Energy Shield? It's one of your big DCDs. Now let me tell you something. The Merc doesn't have a lot of DCDs. Okay? This is the weakness of the Merc's mercenary class. It struggles with this every single time, no matter what. So what you got to do is the reason why you want to use this is, one, this will guarantee the kill. Okay, this is just gonna guarantee it. You're gonna beat him up. You're gonna finish him off. The Marauder is done. Okay. Now as you can see, I activated my Chaff Flare. Absorbs next incoming incoming direct force or tech attack. Okay? So here's another lesson for SWTOR PvP. You see this? You see how the numbers are yellow? You see that? Yellow numbers? That means tech attack. Okay, that means it's using tech damage. Your tech damage booster. Go into your stats. Right there. Tech damage bonus. It's using shit from there. Okay, that's what it's doing. Alright, now let's go blazing bolts. You see white damage? White, that is not using tech damage. That is using your base weapons and stuff like that, you know, your min energy damage, blah blah blah, like your basic weapon damage, to boost it, of course, with power, and your aim increases, or your mastery increases that. It's using ranged damage bonus. That is white damage. Okay? That is the difference. As you can see, Chaff Flare doesn't absorb white damage. Only tech and force attacks. And if you're a Jedi and you use a force attack, it's yellow. Okay? Same thing as tech for bounty hunter or an operative. So that's what's happening. Okay, so you absorb force attacks, okay, or tech attacks. So what chaff flares are good for? They're only good for fighting sorks, other bounty hunters, and lethality spec operatives. Okay, they are not good for fighting and juggernauts. And juggernauts too. Okay, but they are not good for sins or marauders. Okay, the chafflers are not good for those classes, and even some specs of the juggernaut, they're not good. Okay, so you're saying, but why would you use chafflers? Because when you're fighting a sork and he's just casting on you, that's 5 attacks absorbed. If it happens in that time limit, that really short time limit of absorption, if that happens, you've just literally mitigated perfect damage. You know, like just you just said fuck it to the damage. It doesn't say it blocks it. Doesn't say it reduces the damage. It absorbs the damage. It's gone. Okay, so just be aware of that. You have to. This is where the mindset of a bounty hunter mercenary is. You have to be very aware of who you're fighting. If you are not, you're going to be destroyed. You're not an AP spec power tech. You can't go in there and just beat everyone the same way you beat the last guy. You have to think about who you're fighting. If you're fighting sages, any class other than a marauder or a sin, use your chaff flare first. Okay? Use that shit first. That's very important. Because marauders and sins do a lot of white damage, which means they don't get absorbed by that shit. It doesn't help against them. They're gonna like you can activate chaff flares and be like, well, I didn't absorb because it's just force and tech attacks. It's not every single attack. Okay? So that's something to understand. Understand who you're fighting, who you are fighting. Okay? Now, I'm gonna have to address the elephant in the room. We got done with marauders. I told you, marauders are your free kill. They are your money as a merc. Okay? Those are the guys like who challenge you in a war zone, like they jump at you and you're just like, yeah, that's what I like. I like to see this. Okay? That's how you play as a merc. Okay? Now let's address the elephant in the room. Juggernauts. Okay? Now, Juggernauts, you have to pay extra attention. You have to use your mind a little bit more when you're fighting a Juggernaut. Because here's where Juggernauts get tricky. You see, Marauders are, when you put Electronet on them, they're basically fucked. Okay? That's it. End of day for them, basically. So, how I see you fight a Juggernaut is you got to be very careful. You not only have to understand your class. I highly recommend playing a Juggernaut. And the reason why I say that is so you can understand them to defeat them. See, from someone on the outside of a Juggernaut, you'll never understand how to defeat them. It's very difficult unless you know exactly how they operate, just like I do. Okay? Here's the main DCDs of a Juggernaut. He has Saber Reflect that will reflect damage back into you. massive amounts of damage. The more damage you do, the more damage it's going to throw back at you. They have enraged defense. Every time they get hit, they heal for a certain amount of percentage of health. They have Saber Ward, just like every other force using class. They have Saber Ward, which basically is a shield around them that absorbs more damage. And then they have Endure Pain, which just adds 30% of their total health back into their health. Now, these are really nasty DCDs to deal with. One of them does damage directly into you and none to him. Okay? The second literally heals him every time you hit him. Okay? Now, I know how it sounds. It sounds like horrible class balance. It is, but that's besides the fact. Okay? This is how you deal with a Juggernaut. Okay? You're gonna have to be clever and be dodging him hard. Okay? This takes skill. This takes a lot of skill to pull off these kills. Yeah, you're going to be able to kill a Juggernaut when he's got his pants down fighting other people. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when a Juggernaut gets in your face and his motivation is to take you out. I don't count those scenarios where, oh, he was fighting two other guys like 2 minutes before. I'm talking about if the Juggernaut has all his cooldowns and I have all my cooldowns, how are we going to bro down? You know what I mean? So, this is how it's going to happen. The Juggernaut is going to get in your face. Now, most Juggernauts like to play Vengeance, I noticed, or the tank spec. Some play the Rage, but it's besides the fact. If they play the Rage, I actually find it easier to fight them. But let's just hear this. Let's say he's a Vengeance spec DPS Juggernaut, and he jumps in your face. And by the way, you can check what spec they are. They're in a stance. If they're in a purple stance, they're in Vengeance. If they're in the blue stance, they're in Rage spec. And if they're in the green stance, they're in the tank stance. Okay? Simple as that. Let's say he's in the purple stance. Now, and he jumps at you, don't use Electro Dart. Okay? He has immunity for a little while. Okay? Sit there, you're going to be rooted. You're going to have to take it a little bit. You know, when he's rooted you, just cast at him. Just get the damage off. And then once it's done, back it up, hydraulic overrides. He'll try to force push you, if he does. And if he fails, you keep going, you keep hiding, you know, use your escapes. Get away from him. Okay? Now, you might be saying, but Dread, or Beyond Reach Gaming, my YouTube channel, why didn't you Electronet him? Keep him over there. What a smart Juggernaut loves to do is he loves it when you hit him with Electronet. You know why? Because the second you hit him with Electronet, he activates Saber Reflect and starts moving forward towards you. And how Electronet works is the more that a target moves, the damage increases of Electronet. He knows this. He is going to start reflecting that damage into you, and if you keep shooting him, he's going to do this. He's going to be reflecting all this into you. You cannot afford that. As a Merc, you cannot. You just cannot. Okay? So this is what you're going to do. As soon as you see him pop Saber Reflect. Now, number one, if he's way over there, and he wants to pop Saber Reflect, just stop shooting. Literally, run away. Just run away. Just run away. Just keep doing. Just run away. Okay? Just keep doing that. Just get the Gen Chat. I hope that's not a spoiler for the new Star Wars movie. I swear to God, I will gonna kill someone in Gen Chat. Anyway, back away, run away from the Juggernaut, like I was saying. And once his Saber Reflect is worn off, resume the bombardment. Just resume it. Resume it. You know, this is only on a 20-second cooldown. It should be popping back up real quick. Just keep staying away. Now, if you can pull this off, you're doing a good job. The Juggernaut is now at a disadvantage. He has lost one of his DCDs, and you probably have not used any. And I've gotten away with this. I haven't used any yet. Now, he's going to start closing distance. Eventually, you can only kite for so long. So now, let's say we're up in each other's face now. You know, like about this distance. Now, what you want to do is, you'll see he activates Enraged Defense. Enraged, and you have to watch the bar. You see, this requires, you can't just be looking at your quick bar, watching yourself click buttons. Okay? You need to watch the Juggernaut. When Enraged Defense gets activated, what you want to do is you want to activate Power Surge. It basically allows your next ability to be used instantly and Concussion Missile. This is going to stun him. Okay? and it's gonna stun him for a good, like, enraged defense lasts for 15 seconds. If you pop this, it's about, I think to a player it's about a 10-second stun. You've taken away 10 seconds of his time. He gets close up in your face, jet boost. These should be off cooldown again. Just stay away then. Keep firing. Enraged defense is gone at this point. That's how you have to fight him. Now, he only has one thing, and that's a shield. Pop this. Pop Electronet. It's time. It's time for burn. And that's how you kill Juggernauts. I know this sounds super vague because there's not a real Juggernaut in front of you. Of course, you have to be reacting to what he does. So now that I got this proc, now you see my rail shot ignores their armor and its damage dealt is increased. And rapid scan, hold on, let me keep my proc up. Okay, and rapid scan is used instantly. And now you have to pick between these two. Okay, now if you're taking a lot of damage, what I highly recommend is doing this. You pop a rapid scan because it's instant. You pop an emergency scan because it's also instant. And you use this, and pop another rapid scan. Fantastic. And then if you still need to use a concussion, do this. You can give yourself heals. And remember, when he's stunned, let's just say you took a lot of damage. Like, I don't know every fight that's gonna happen. So let's say you took a lot of damage. Pop some of this. Pop some of this on yourself. Pop some of this. Just do it. Just do it. Colto shot yourself. Colto shot. Supercharges up. Use that whenever you can. When you want to do a heavy burn phase. You can heal yourself. You can line of sight the Juggernaut. You know? Use things to cover you. Pop him a little bit. Just be like, boom. Boom. He gets in your face. Okay? Use your Chafflers against Vengeance Jugs. Vengeance Jugs they love their tech attacks. Shatter. Not Force Crush. Shatter, Impale, and Force Scream are all force attacks. And that is their main attacks. Use that. That is how you fight Jugs. Now, I'm not going to say that this is a surefire way to win every match. Because let me tell you something. Things can go bad. You never know when another guy joins the fight in. Those are all the variables in PvP. But what this is giving you a general idea on how to fight these guys. Okay, what you have to do, what you have to accomplish, and know when you're at a disadvantage and when you are not. Okay? Now those are the main monsters in the room. Operatives, just do your rotation. The way you were trying to fight a Marauder, try to fight an Operative the same way. It's just about the same. I'm not saying they're easy kills. They're not. Because they can stealth out and come back and haunt you. But what I'm saying is there's not much you can do against it. I've experimented so much. You have no idea. You can't do shit against it. I'm sorry. You just cannot. Okay. How I want to end this guy is I've shown you the rotation. I've shown you basically how to fight to the main classes, and I just want to leave you with one more note where sages are involved. Now, sages love to put up this bubble that makes them immune to damage for about 10 and 8 seconds around there, and you can't hit them. Now, most sages do this right before they're about to die, because that's what a smart sage does. Right before they're about to die, they do it so someone can throw heals on them or something to keep them alive. Right before, like when you see a sage at about 40% health, pop Electronet on them. It catches them off guard a lot of the times, and they can't pop their bubble while Electronet is on, and you finish the sage off. And that's probably the final tip I can give you. If you want more in depth on this class, I can provide it. I'll answer questions in the comments. If your ideas for utilities and stuff like that, I'll be glad to answer those questions. So, till I see you guys next time, deuces.